Finding Freedom in an Age of Confusion. Chapter 3. You Are Divine. The mainstream view of history, which most state-educated children are familiar with, has been handed down through generations by the victors of past conquests. The oppressors' perspectives present the idea that great things will only be accomplished by mythical heroes who have all of the right things to say, know all of the right things to do, and who are completely devoid of fear, doubt, regret, or any other feelings of vulnerability which are part of the great spectrum of human emotion. For the better part of history, kings and priests have created a social atmosphere in which they were these heroes, although in reality, this ruling class was nothing like the image they put on display. In American culture, the politicians are often presented in this mythical context, where they are said to have the superhuman ability to know what is best for millions of other people at all times, just as the kings and priests before them. During times of social upheaval, the current ruler was naturally associated with revolutionary changes due to the personality cult that is traditionally inherited by those in positions of power. However, this view of history relies too heavily on the individuals who have waged wars and signed declarations. We live in a world where there are different classes of people who have different rules and different rights, according to their relationship with those in power or their ability to use force and commit fraud upon others. Despite the predominant view that humans have equality in some form or another, the division of classes and power happens without much condemnation from the masses. The truth is that we are equal as free, self-governing humans, but we live in societies where we are not treated as equals because small groups of sophists have established cultural norms which ensure that they are the rulers of everyone else instead of their equals. This was obvious during the times of the monarchy and open slavery, but now the rulers hide behind democracy and communism, both ideas that claim to put the power in the hands of the people, but often end up creating the illusion of power while strengthening the state and the ruling class. While recognizing the limits and the failures of the state's view of history, we should also remember that our current situation is only temporary and does not have to be the future of humanity. While it may be true that there are people who think they have the authority over you and will probably use force to maintain that power, this does not mean that this false authority actually exists. This authority is nothing more than an illusion. The fact that the majority of the population believes in the illusion does not make this undue authority and power an objective fact. Simply put, we should not live our lives like second-class citizens just because we are treated as such. As beautiful, free, powerful, autonomous human beings, we can choose to be free at a moment's notice. Each and every one of us has the right to think and act as we wish, as long as we bring no harm to anyone else. In other words, you are your own king, queen, priest, authority, etc. This does not mean that we believe everyone is a special snowflake and should be granted certain privileges by the state in an attempt to establish equality. Rather, we believe you own yourself, regardless of how many politicians come along and claim ownership over you. You are the master of your own domain and the creator of your future. We should not live our lives as if the state is the master of our fate. Sure, we are currently living in a situation where our possibilities are limited and we are forced to conform in certain ways when the powers that wish they were are looking, but none of that changes reality, so it should not change the way we perceive our own power. When you accept the worldview of those who oppress you and act as if it were objective truth, you are disempowering yourself and giving your abuser the upper hand. This is what happens when we attempt to conform with standards that we know are unjust and then proceed to emotionally attack ourselves when we inevitably fall short. It would seem our ancestors were unable to come to terms with these facts and were never able to achieve true freedom by resisting the establishment of the control systems that exist today. However, the generations born in the late 20th century and the beginning of the 21st century have tools at their disposal that their predecessors could not fathom. We have the capability and the power to turn things around and create a world where every living being has autonomy. One of the first steps towards individual and collective liberation is to claim your power, be your own master, and to make efforts to advance and spread the philosophy of self-ownership.